Well, good evening. Welcome to Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps for the final round of the NXTGEN Racing, PowerMax Racing, WTCR League on Raceroom. It's been a long season, 11 weeks of racing, and it all ends here at Spa-Francorchamps. The Grand Prix circuit where we're racing today, one of the most famous circuits in the world. Once in the early as far back as 100 years ago, it was once a 15-kilometer street circuit. Now we know it as the 7-kilometer iconic circuit that you see on the map there. This layout has been a part of Spa-Francorchamps since 2007, where previously there was a bus stop on the final complex of the circuit. Now is that right-left chicane at the end of the lap. The track costs £4.42 on Raceroom if you wanted to purchase it, if you haven't already, or if you're interested in how much it costs if you want to be a part of Raceroom. 24 turns on this track, plenty to think about on this iconic circuit. 14 to the right and 10 to the left, and well, of course, it's hosted many races over the years, not just Formula 1, but 63 Formula 1 Grand Prix has hosted ever since the very first season of Formula 1's existence. It is touring cars tonight, so a little bit of heritage on that. They've only hosted 2 years of World Touring Car racing at Spa-Francorchamps in 2005, the first year, and 2014. Of course, the TCR Spa 500, a very popular endurance event nowadays, is run every May at this track. It's been a long season, and this is where we have come from. We started off all them weeks ago in Portimao in Portugal. Then the following week was at Brands Hatch, Indy. Then Road America. Circuit Zolder, just north of us in Belgium, was round 4. Autodrome Most hosted round 5. Scandinavian Raceway after the New Year hosted round 6, with another trip to the States for round 7 at Mid-Ohio. Back to Europe for Motorland Aragon for round 8. Last week, round 9, what a round that was. Watkins Glen Short Circuit hosted a thriller last week for the penultimate round, but this week it all ends here for season 19 of NXTGEN Racing here at Spa-Francorchamps. Season 20 is coming up in mid-March is when it's starting. If you do want to get involved in this league or other NXTGEN leagues, do join their group on Facebook. Just search NXTGEN as it's spelled in the top left there, and you will find the group. So yeah, this is the final round tonight, and we'll give you a little bit of a sit rep on the championship now as we come into tonight's race. So there we go, Ben Walker still leads at the top and has done since round 2. Ben Walker leads with 579 points, with a win last week further helping his chances. He struggled a little bit with a lot of ballast on his car last week on races 1 and 3, but race 2 he put it all together to help bring his championship together as he has done all season. Lee Horne, an ex-Raceroom NXTGEN champion, 3 times previously, I believe so. He is in second, not far behind on 562 points, with 2 second-place finishes last week. A strong performance from him. Zhirayr Gurunyan didn't have his best meeting last week, but he's still in the running for the championship in third there, 544 points. William Foyle, a slim chance, but still a chance nonetheless. It could all end after race 1 today, but William Foyle is still in with a chance on 490 points. The battle for 5th split up a little bit between Jeff Perkins and Fraser Rostance. Jamie Dory, who had to miss races 2 and 3, is there in 7th. Jonas Leenberg in 8th. Justin Wellbeloved in 9th, who's missed quite a few races this season. And Matthew Addy, coming up the order throughout the season, has got himself into 10th place there. And after the top 10, Arnaldo Guedes in 11th with Roy Plummet in 12th. Alex Ward, who got not only his first win last week, but 2 wins last week, is there in 13th. Arnaud Chenonnier in 14th with Neil Crave, a disappointing meeting last week, in 15th. Ogu Zagan, who joins us tonight, I believe. He's in 16th, Jürgen Mansby Pedersen in 17th. Jakobsen 18th, Kilgren 19th, and Chris Needham in 20th. The ballast for this championship is based on the championship order as well. Ben Walker on 60 kilos going into qualifying and race 1 tonight, with Lee Horne on 54 kilos, and it drops by 6 kilos per place in the championship there. So that's the championship state of play. We will be updating the championship results as we go along tonight, so we will update the points. The drop rounds on the right will stay as they are. They are the lowest scoring rounds of these 4 drivers throughout the season, with the exception of today. So we will update that and keep you updated as we go along. But without further ado, we will start to interview some drivers, and we're going to start off with 4th place in the championship. So if we can drag this person in. So we are going to pull in William Foyle for the first interview of tonight. So William Foyle, 4th in the championship, coming into tonight's race. You are 89 points off the leader, Ben Walker, which is quite a big gap. It's quite a slim chance at the championship. Nonetheless, you are still going to go for it. So what is your approach going into tonight's race, William?
I'm going to try as hard as I can, basically, and to see where the results put me. Hopefully I can be in the top 3 of race 1, that's the goal, and ahead of my championship rivals. Yeah,
there's not much else you can do, to be fair, Will, but all you can do is your best. You do have a bit of a reputation with Spa in the past. I mean, the exiled Spa 50, you came from 36th on the grid to 3rd place, which was quite an impressive highlighting performance for yourself. I mean, today there's a lot less drivers on the grid. I mean, is it all you can hope for? Is a little bit of luck on your side today, or are you just going to throw caution to the wind and just go for it?
I think I do need a bit of luck. I think with Zhirayr's pace currently, I think he's odds on for taking pole. But I definitely am going to push for it as hard as I can, for sure.
Yeah, and we'll just look at where you are in practice at the moment. 7th at the well, 7th at the moment with a lot of weight on board. There's still a lot of racing to go. So without further ado, we'll say good luck and let's see where it gets you tonight.
Thanks.
That was William Foyle. So a bit of a task to do for William tonight, being a long way off on 89 points, but all he can do is just drive. That's all he can do at this point, is just see if the other drivers fall down the order, I suppose, and he's way up the order. He needs a little bit of drama, he needs a little bit of luck, but he's just got to go for it. That's really all he can do. So without further ado, we're going to pull in the next driver, who is not out on track at the moment, but it is Zhirayr Gurunyan. Now, Zhirayr, English is not his first language, everyone, so I spoke to him last night. Credit where credit's due, his English is great. Fair play to him. So do bear with it if he's a little bit nervous about this. However, we are going to speak to Zhirayr Gurunyan now, 3rd in the championship coming into tonight. Zhirayr Gurunyan is on 544 points, 35 points behind Ben Walker. So hello to you, Zhirayr. Coming into tonight's race, how are you feeling? And we're not getting a response. No, we're not getting a response from Zhirayr at the moment, so we'll have to come back to him very shortly. We will cut away from Zhirayr and we will come to Lee Horne instead for an interview, because Zhirayr doesn't want to talk to us right now. So Lee Horne, Mr. Next Gen himself, Mr. Raceroom Next Gen himself, 17 points off the top spot coming into tonight's race. It's been a bit of a difficult season for you, Lee, but definitely in this second half of the season, you've come to your own. You've certainly proved what you can do when it comes to Raceroom and touring cars. But is your approach tonight any different to what you have done this season?
Well, as you've just alluded to, Alex, I've progressively throughout the season tried to become more respectfully aggressive, and my sole purpose tonight is just to score more points than the others. It's going to be no mean feat to try and score more than 17 over Ben, because he's very, very good, as we all know, and that's why he's sat at the top of the table. I have been scoring more points than him over the last few rounds, but it hasn't been quite as many as I'd like. So yeah, the sole goal is to finish ahead by as many places as possible to gain the maximum points I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only to mention Ben Walker, you've got a very, very quick Zhirayr Gurunyan tonight to worry about as well. But yeah, with all said and done, all you can do tonight is just push as hard as you can. I guess that's right.
Yeah, exactly that. I want to, as I usually do every night, I want to really enjoy myself, which I have done for every round. Few of them are with some frustrating results, but at the end of it, I still come out, smiling and enjoying the fact that I'm racing with some really high quality drivers and some good friends. So and that's what it's all about. But yeah, to get the victory and the title, to add to a third out of this series would be amazing. But it's not the be all and end all if I do or I don't. As long as I'm competing, to the best of my ability, then that's all that matters, really.
So we now have an answer. It is 2 NXTGEN Raceroom Championships you've won, not 3.
Correct, yeah. I won the first and the second. Jamie won the third by a point, and this is now the fourth in this particular, since we've come to PC, that is NXTGEN, or I've come to PC and been running this series, yeah.
There we go, and one of them you beat me, so let's move on. Yeah. So, in the standings at the moment, you're 0.6 of a second off of Gurunyan, but Ben Walker is behind you by about 0.3. Is that a good sign at the moment, considering you know more about the point system than I do? Do you think that's a comfortable gap at the moment?
See, I don't mind, because most of the season, Zhirayr has been very quick in practice. He's always been good in quali, and then he's done well in the first races, albeit of recent times he seemed to have not been as strong in the pack. So if we can not let him run away with something, I'm quite happy and confident to go toe to toe with Zhirayr. I went toe to toe with Ben last week, and I didn't get the better of him. I tried a good few things, as you saw commentating on that race of ours. I tried a few different things, so I see more of a challenge with Ben, albeit Zhirayr, if he's out front and quick, he's gone. So they're all challenges. I mean, I think Will's looking really quick around here. Not at the moment, but I did some practice with him and a few of the other guys. So to be honest, it's going to be massively mixed up, and it'll be how the 3 or 4 of us at the top here can sort of fend our way through the pack and against each other, and hopefully, well, I'll come out on top. But I think that's going to be no mean feat, like I said.
Exactly, yeah. And last but not least, the talking point is about. We are in season 19 of NXTGEN, and I believe you said this is the 4th season of Raceroom on NXTGEN. Obviously, there's a season 20. What do the community need to expect from NXTGEN Raceroom in the coming weeks?
Well, there will be announcements for all of our PC and console leagues coming out over the next week or so. Probably shorter time period. We're keen to try and get them out and then give people a nice run up to the 15th of March when the season 20 starts. Week commencing the 15th. In respect to the WTCR here on Raceroom that I'm running, I'm planning on running another series, similar format in the 3-race format with the qualifier and the ballast. However, I am going to introduce an amateur cup title. So all those that haven't either been on a podium or in the bottom half of the grid will be while on the racetrack at the same time, but will be competing for an amateur trophy. So all the quicker guys, the guys that had podiums before that we know are good, won't be competing in that particular element. So they'll be fighting, the lower half of the grid will be fighting for a little title of their own. So hopefully that'll encourage get some more drivers involved and get the numbers up a bit.
Excellent stuff. And just to elaborate on what Lee said, we're going to show up the roster now. You can get involved in all of NXTGEN Racing series. There's plenty of competitions on all sorts of sims and pretty much all consoles as well. So do get involved with the NXTGEN Racing group. And if you want to get involved in this particular Raceroom, get in touch with Lee Horne, the man himself. So without further ado, Lee, thank you for speaking to us tonight and best of luck. And if you hear from Ben, let him know that I'm looking for him.
Yeah, I'm just looking for you now, Alex, to be honest, and he's not in this room with us. I'm not quite sure where he is. Zhirayr did come into your room, and he said he was happy to speak, but he popped back. I don't know how or why, so we'll try and get him in for you anyway and see where we go.
Okay, no problem. Well, qualifying starts soon, so we'll catch up with some interviews a bit later. But yeah, other than that, good luck, Lee, and have a blast.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Alex. Cheers.
Lee Horne, speaking with there. We'll speak with Ben Walker later on in the night, I hope. We'll have to see. But that is all the housekeeping out of the way, and we'll be underway with qualifying very, very shortly in 4.5 minutes' time. So we've got a little bit of time now to review the track of Spa-Francorchamps. So we'll go on board with fourth in the championship at the moment, William Foyle, who crosses the line now. Hopefully he does another lap. So we're coming into turn 1 now, which is La Source, which used to be a very, very narrow exit to this corner, surrounded by walls, but it's quite wide open, running down the hill now, and he recovers. That is not what we wanted Will to do, so we'll go with someone else. Thank you for that, Will. We're watching Jonas Lindberg here, who hasn't taken part in many races this season, has Jonas, but shown some great pace. In fact, has had a few race wins here and there this season. Jonas is, I believe, 8th in the championship. He had a race win in Portimao, round 1 of the season, and he had a race win, race 1 at Autodrome Most, which we unfortunately couldn't broadcast due to my unavailability. But what could have been a pretty good season for Jonas. He runs wide, coming out of Stavelot. No, sorry, Lefania. Now he's going through Stavelot. Who else is out on track? We've got Justin Wellbluff coming out of the pits. The only Lincoln Co driver out there for much of the season. It's a car that I intend on driving if I do next season. But yeah, that is something to break to those who have been following the series. I'll be back to driving. I definitely could be back to driving next year, next season. Someone else can broadcast. But it's been thoroughly enjoyable picking up the coverage via Crest Autosport TV, but maybe we'll be back someday. Fraser Rostons, who's had a bit of an up and down season, a bit of a dark horse in many events. He has had no race wins, which is a bit of a surprise, but he's had many top 3 finishes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 top 3 finishes, which is rather impressive, and that's why it's put him 6th in the championship. He was battling with Jeff Purkis, but going into, well, getting my words right. Last week he had a DNF in race 3, which really cost him, and it's dropped him quite a few points from Mr. Purkis himself, who will take a look at here, who's 16th in the standings at the moment, hasn't set a lap time. So by Jeff's standards, this is actually kind of what he does. He doesn't practice as much as he probably should, but got plenty of pace in the bag. He's very, very quick learner on circuits, is Jeff Purkis. I'll never write him off. And of course, a welcome back to some drivers who have picked up the wheel and gone for it in today's session. Arnaldo Guedes is one of them. He has been sporadically turning up this season. Jonas Lindberg, of course, we mentioned earlier. Alexander Jakobsen is back for the final round, as is his teammate Albin Kilgren, who has been lighting up the Crest Autosport DTM series. Argu Zagan, welcome back to the Turkish driver in the Honda there. Good to see him back on the grid. So we haven't got many drivers out on the track at the moment, and in fact we can't do a live on board in this session, so we will do one in qualifying instead. We'll do that with the man Zhirayr Gurunyan. Championship leader Ben Walker, 7th in practice. A little bit worrying for him. Lee Horne in 4th place there, and Zhirayr Gurunyan in 1st place there. So if much of the races went that way tonight, with those drivers finishing in those positions, it could close up very, very well indeed. So we could be on for a juicy round here. We'll see, as we are about to progress on to qualifying. And as we mentioned, we will keep you up to date with the championship status as the night goes on. So it will be a bonus point available for qualifying, so any of those top 4 there will be eager for that extra point, just to be sure. Drop rounds do not apply to this final round. Drop round is the lowest score of the season from rounds 1 to 9, and then it is zeroed. Hello to the Honda that's just reversed up the pit lane there. Missed his pit spot potentially. But round 10 is not a drop round, so it is pretty much all points they score today contribute to the championship, which is great. It's a great way of doing it. So we'll be moving on to qualifying very, very shortly, once the server ticks over. Here we go. Qualifying begins. Ben Walker, we're watching there, straight out the pits and onto the track. Sorry, that was Zhirayr Gurunyan. This is Ben Walker coming out the pits here, and they all shuffle out the pits, trying to establish their place. This is a track where you want to be behind someone. You want to be drafting other drivers in front of you to get the best down the Kemmel Straight. So if we go on board with Arnaldo Guedes here, he's got a bit of a draft on Jonas Lindberg, I think that is in front of him. He gets past him here, but down this Kemmel Straight you definitely want to be behind drivers. Zhirayr Gurunyan knows what he can do. He did it in practice with the only sub 2:30 time, 2:29.8 I think he had, so he certainly has the capability to do that out of traffic and do it again in this race. So he's in a hurry to get well ahead of the pack and get on with his lap. William Foyle there behind him, out in the open. As we said to Will earlier, he has got a bit of a reputation when it comes to racing at Spa-Francorchamps. He blistered through the field in the NXTGEN Spa 50 event last May, where he started, well, he was kicked out of qualifying due to a connection issue, rejoined and had to start 36th and came all the way through the pack in the just over 2-hour race to finish 3rd. He probably could have won that had he not had that disconnection. That's the heavy thing to think about that. Ben Walker there, right in amongst it. That's his view. Plenty of draft in front of him, plenty of drives ahead of him, but he does not want them to make any mistakes in front of him. What he needs is a good, clean run. In a 15-minute session at Spa-Francorchamps, there's not many opportunities to set a time, so these drivers definitely want to get it in early. Now, this is Lee Horne, second in the championship, following Neil Crave in the Cooper in front of him. Neil's not a bad driver to follow. Neil, in fact, beat me last night in a little fun Janetta race, so I've got a bit of a grudge against Neil Crave right now. My first race on AMS2, and he just about got me. So we will start a full flying lap on board with Zhirayr Gurunyan, coming up the start finish straight now. Across the line we go now, and onto the 2.5 minute lap we go, braking down into last source. A bit of a dip in the middle of the corner, take plenty of the curb, bleed it out to the outside, don't hit the sausage curb on the outside. Now the run down the hill towards one of the most famous corners in the world, Eau Rouge. There it is, the roller coaster hill that is Eau Rouge. Hit curb number 1, heavy right, foot flat to the floor, across the 3rd curve here. Great line there from Zhirayr Gurunyan through Eau Rouge. Round the Kemmel corner and down the Kemmel Straight we go now, flat out, above 150 miles per hour now. Braking just after the 100 metre sign on the left there. Now, down into 3rd gear for Lecombe. Right and then left, then a short burst towards Malmedy. Right round this corner, do not go too wide here because there's a gravel trap out there. Uses plenty of the road but not too much. Now down to Bruxelles. Very, very slow corner. Takes a very early apex. Very powerful round that corner. This is a good lap from Zhirayr. Into the recently named Jackie Inks corner. Formerly the corner with no name. 4th gear around there. This is a very impressive lap from Zhirayr Gurunyan. He's pushing it like crazy. Now into Puyon. 5th gear, he stayed in there. You can take it in 4th. A little bit of the curb there on the last part of the double apex corner. Now into Lafagna. Right, and then a long left. Keep it close to the curb. Do not run out too far. Very, very good so far from Zhirayr into Campus. Right hand a bit tighter than most people think. 180 degrees turned on the wheel there now through Stavelot. Flat out through here, and then it's flat out all the way up through the Blanchimont towards the chicane now. There'll be plenty of drafting coming along here. There'll be plenty of risks. Throwing the car up the inside or the outside as we now approach Blanchimont. Fastest corner on the track. Take some of that curb. Plenty of the outside curb there. now up towards the chicane, formerly the bus stop, but it doesn't look anything like a bus stop anymore. Second gear, get it in on that curb. Now a late left-hander. Great lap from Zhirayr. Let's see if he gets in the 2:29 straight away. I think he might. 2:27, 28, 29. Oh, just outside of it. 2:30.014. Brilliant opening lap from Zhirayr Gurunyan. And William Foyle puts himself second at the moment, nearly a second off the pace. Jonas Lindberg takes second place. Guedes is in fourth at the moment. Lee Horne takes third place at the moment. This is Justin Welbler in the sole link in the field. Comes across the line to get second place. 4/10 off the pace. Alex Ward, last week's driver of the day, race 1 and race 3 winner, 5th there at the moment. So, the only drivers who haven't set valid lap times are Pedersen, Fraser Rostens, Ben Walker, championship leader, Matthew Addy and Roy Plummer. And would you believe it, Zhirayr Gurunyan, despite that blistering great lap time, has set another purple sector 1. As he goes around Bushell's now towards the Jackie Inks corner. This could be another blistering lap time from Zhirayr. The other drivers might have to just let him go and just be blisteringly quick as he is right now. Ben Walker has not set a lap time yet, but someone has. No, they haven't. I'm lying to myself. Justin Welbler's already reset to the pits. Now, more than half the session left to go, so not a bad decision from Justin Welbler. Mind you, the tyres probably haven't got to optimal pace yet. They get around about 80% remaining on this track, which is where their optimal is supposed to be on Raceroom. They get to that state is round about now. They're around about halfway towards the end of the third lap. So it's no wonder that Zhirayr is set in purple sector 1 here. Sector 2 could be okay. We'll have to see. This is Jonas Lindberg we're watching. But Zhirayr Gurunyan a little bit slower in sector 2, in fact. So we'll have to see if he can hook up a good sector 3. Justin Welbler coming back out onto the track now. Lindberg on his return. Third at the moment, pretty impressive from him. Ben Walker. Ben Walker's not on a hot lap at the moment, so he hasn't got much time to get warmed up and get onto top pace. And in fact, Jonas Lindberg with a purple first sector there, really impressive, but second sector not great. Let's see how he's getting on in the third. But let's go back to Zhirayr Gurunyan. He crosses the line. It is still a 2:30. He has not hit below the 2:30s yet, and he'll go straight in the pits to go out for another lap. He's got time to do another, just about, I believe. William Foyle puts himself third place, half a second behind Zhirayr Gurunyan. Neil Crave has just nipped into sixth place. Fraser Rostens, opening lap of the session for him, ninth place. Ben Walker starts a lap, but has not set a valid one yet. But his championship rival is only sixth place at the moment. I mean, it is only qualifying, but there's plenty still to do for Lee Horne. He needs big points. That's what he needs. When you get up into third, second, and first place, the gap between each position's points is much bigger than that is from fourth downwards. So it certainly is highly beneficial finishing in the top 3 in this series. Matthew Addy, a brilliant lap from him. Not far off of Zhirayr Gurunyan at all. And Matthew Addy had a great meeting that might have boosted his confidence last week at Watkins Glen. Puts himself second, only a 10th behind Zhirayr Gurunyan. So really impressive from the Volkswagen driver there. Volkswagen's actually pretty good around this track, so still nonetheless pretty impressive from Matthew Addy. So Lee Horne up on his previous. It's a green first sector, which means he's up on his previous. As he comes round Huron now. The man who wants a third title to his name. Comes into the Lafanya chicane now. Zhirayr Gurunyan, let's see where he is. He's on an outlap at the moment. Matthew Addy Slower than his previous, but let's stick with Lee Horne for the minute. As he ends sector 2. Green still, so he's up on his personal best at the moment. This could move him up a few positions. We'll catch up with him soon. Ben Walker, who's just finished sector 2, he's even quicker than Lee Horne, I believe. So a 151.9. Oh, Lee Horne is a little bit behind Ben Walker when it comes to the times as it is right now. He's got a little bit of a slipstream in front of him coming into the chicane here. Ben Walker has just come out of Blanchimont in the background there. Through the chicane goes Lee Horne. Takes plenty of that curb to try and get a little bit more in his lap time. He comes over to the right. Ben Walker has just come out the chicane there. Comes across the line. Sets a 2:30.5. That puts him 6th. And Ben Walker, not a great third sector, puts himself 7th at the moment. So right behind his championship rival, which probably is where he only needs to be. He just needs to stick to the back of Lee Horne tonight, and that will probably be just enough. But he gets himself into the grid. 7th is not where he'd ideally be, but he'll take it. Now Justin Welblove in the sole link out there. A purple first sector, a 41.3 in sector 1, which isn't bad at all. Let's see how he'll do in sector 2 here. Short burst down to campus. And now the approach to Stavelot and flat out round this corner as he comes to the end of sector 2. Purple second sector. This could break Zhirayr's dominance in this session and practice so far. A good sector 3 here for Justin Welblove. Could upset the man who wants that extra point for his championship bid. A point isn't much in comparison to what Zhirayr Gurunyan really needs. 35 points over Ben Walker tonight is what he needs, but oh, and Justin Welblove broke just a little bit too late. That has ruined his lap, and he has time to try again. He hooked up a pretty late exit from the chicane there to try again. He's definitely got potential in him to do it, but he'll have to try again. Zhirayr is off the hook at the moment as we switch to the man himself, who has gone purple yet again in sectors 1 and 2. So if he can hook up a good sector 3, that might put the doubt of Justin going a little bit quicker than him beyond any doubt. We'll see as he hooks up a much better bus stop chicane. I call it the bus stop just because I want to. That's how I remember that corner. Out of the chicane and across the start-finish line now. Purple third sector, and that will put Zhirayr is still in the 230s, actual fact, but a little tiny bit quicker still. And that will be it for Zhirayr. He will not be able to do any more laps. Now, Lee Horne's crossing the line right now. Green splits, puts himself no further. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Ben Walker is the one that went up the order. Ben Walker with a brilliant time, puts himself 3rd place on the grid. That is brilliant for him in his championship defence bid. Fantastic final lap from Ben Walker himself. That'll be it from him. It won't be pole position for Ben Walker today, but that might have been enough. Lee Horne has had to give up as well. He hasn't got enough time to do any laps. But the drivers now finishing their laps. There's plenty of them finishing their laps right now. Matthew Addy won't get another chance. Justin Welblove does have another chance, but he's down on his first sector. Neil Crave will not have enough time, so this is just practice for him, and Alexander Jakobsen will not have enough time. So the only person who can stop Zhirayr Gurunyan now is this man in the link. The Andy Priol livery, Justin Welblove. Admin of the exiled Assetto Corsa Competizione League. And he's down on his sector 2 time, but he's going to keep going because he has a chance to take 3rd or 2nd with times like that. Let's see how he gets on. The only one out on track still that can complete a lap, that is. All 17 drivers have set a lap. Oh, he messes up the bus stop at the chicane again. It's not his corner at the moment. He needs to be careful in the race for that, but that'll be it. Zhirayr Gurunyan will be pole position for the first race of Spa tonight, and that is 1 point added to his tally today. It's not a huge amount to help him, but it helps him nonetheless. And there we go, there's your classified qualifying results. Zhirayr Gurunyan takes pole position from Matthew Addy, an impressive second place for him. Ben Walker, a stonking last lap, puts himself third place. Justin Welbler, who had plenty in the tank, could only manage fourth. William Foyle in fifth place there, with Jonas Leenberg in sixth. Seventh to Lee Horne. Now we'll get those results of qualifying back up for you now. There's sadly what Raceroom does to us, I'm afraid. It's nothing we can help. So yeah, Lee Horne took 7th place there. He'd be disappointed with that. Would have hoped for much better than that. With Fraser Rostons alongside him, one of his teammates. Neil Crave, another NXTGEN teammate behind, in 9th place. 10th will go to last week's driver of the day, Alex Ward, with Jeff Perkis in 11th place. Arnaldo Guedes 12th, with Jürgen Mansby Pedersen 13th. Alexander Jakobsen 14th, with August Agan 15th, and Albin Kilgren in 16th. And rounding out the grid, Roy Plummer in 17th. So that's it, Zhirayr Gurunyan with the opening point of tonight. So this is not up to date, but Zhirayr Gurunyan now up to 545 points, which does gain a little bit, but it's not significant. He'll need more than that tonight. Fastest laps also get you a bonus point tonight. That is something to keep an eye on tonight. But ultimately a win much, much better than just securing qualifying. So Zhirayr will now have to convert it into race pace. And see if he can gain considerably on Lee Horne and Ben Walker in the championship. Lee Horne giving us a little bit of a show there. That was a bit frightening. Arnaldo Guedes putting on a bit of a better show for us as he warms up a little bit, ready for race 1. So there we go. Drivers line up on the grid. This is the final round, but race 1 of the night of the NXTGEN PowerMax Racing WTCR League Season 19, Round 10 here at Spa-Francorchamps. And here we go. Drivers are lined up. The grid is formed. Zhirayr Gurunyan on pole position. Matthew Addy to the right of him in second. Lights are green. Jump start already for Albin Kilgren, but away goes Zhirayr Gurunyan. Up to last source they go. Matthew Addy on his inside, breaking into turn 1. Matthew Addy gets ahead of Zhirayr Gurunyan early on, but Zhirayr hangs on to the outside. It'll now be a run down to Eau Rouge. Between the two, Zhirayr Gurunyan is still alongside, but Matthew Addy is just about nipped in front. Down to Eau Rouge they come. Ben Walker has put himself, is still in 4th place. Lee Horne has got himself up to 6th. He's alongside the Hyundai of Lindbergh. He's back down to 7th. And that's a slow down penalty for Zhirayr Gurunyan and Jonas Lindbergh. Up the Camel Straight they go. Matthew Addy with a great overtake going into turn 1 to take the lead early on here. Coming up to Lecombe. Breaking into Lecombe they go, and Justin Welbler's up the inside of both of them. Could not get alongside Matthew Addy enough. Gets into 2nd place though. Slow down penalty for Justin Welbler though. Cut the corner a little bit too much, as has Alexander Jakobsen. Down to Bruxelles they go. Matthew Addy hangs on to first at the moment, but Zhirayr has slipped down to third at the moment with Ben Walker right behind him, one of his championship rivals. At the inside of the Jackie Inks corner goes Justin Welbelove, really firing opening lap from Justin Welbelove. Brilliant move up the inside of Matthew Addy to take the lead here at Spa, and that is serving his slow down. Zhirayr Gurunyan drops to 5th place. William Foyle takes 4th place and is right behind Ben Walker. Don't forget, William Foyle has still got a chance in this championship. 2nd place in the championship. Lee Horne is back there in 7th at the moment. We're on board with William Foyle now with the view in front of him of Ben Walker, championship leader. Ben Walker is the leader of the championship battlers at the moment, so this is exactly what Ben Walker wants. Everyone behind him. Matthew Addy, despite losing that position to Justin Welbelove, will not give up, and Justin with another slow down penalty. Needs to be careful he doesn't get too many on one lap and get a stop and go penalty. It's either a stop go or a drive through penalty. Coming up towards Blanchimont now, the Link leads from the Volkswagen, from the Hyundai, and another Volkswagen behind him. Zhirayr Gurunyan, pole sitter, all the way down to 5th at the moment from the start. Here we go, coming up towards the chicane. Ben Walker is looking to the inside of Matthew Addy. Up the inside he goes. Addy tries to close him off, but he still has the inside. William Foyle tries the inside of Ben Walker now. Brilliant move from William Foyle to get himself into 3rd place on the chicane. Coming up now to finish lap 1. Ben Walker is on the inside yet again of William Foyle. We'll try the inside for last source, but no, it's not going to work here. Slots back into 4th place. That's the view from William Foyle on the other VW in front of him of Matthew Addy, as Justin Welbelove slips away in front at the moment as he comes into Eau Rouge. Plenty of that 2nd curve taken by the Link there. Lee Horne there in 7th, struggling to catch up with all of his championship rivals ahead of him in that battle amongst 6 drivers. He's got to do something about that. But the time being, Zhirayr Gurunyan is now making his way towards his championship rival. Ben Walker will try the outside. Brilliant opportunistic move from Zhirayr Gurunyan, but can't hang on to it. Ben Walker stays in front for the minute. Zhirayr remains in 5th with Fraser Rostons in 6th place behind him taking a look, and Ben Walker has a slow down penalty from cutting a corner too much through Lacombe. Round Bruxelles they go, and William Foyle in a hurry and getting away from his championship rivals behind him. Will want to get past Matthew Addy fairly sharpish and towards Justin Welbelove. We spoke with William Foyle before the race started tonight, and all he said he could do is just go for wins, go for points. Gurunyan right on the back of fellow Hyundai driver Ben Walker. What can he do? There's not many overtaking opportunities on this part of the track unless you get a really good run out of these corners, which in touring cars is very difficult indeed. Lee Horne has nearly caught up to this pack, which is what he wants. He's got Fraser in front of him to worry about first and foremost though. Round Campus now coming on to the final third of the track. Round Stavelot they go. William Foyle got a good run out of Stavelot. He's looking at Matthew Addy. Will try the inside right away. Addy gives him room. He'll have the inside going into Blanchimont now. This is advantage for you, have got to say. He gets it hooked in, backs off the throttle just a little bit to make sure, and he gets into 2nd place. Meanwhile, further back, Ben Walker and Zhirayr Gurunyan still battling. Zhirayr will try the outside going into the chicane. A bit of door rubbing there. Zhirayr can hang on to the inside here. He does. And will he complete the move he might have done? He gets in front of Ben Walker coming out of the final corner there. Ben Walker well and truly behind him there, as you can see. Took a look to the inside there, but not to be. Coming into the bus stop there, Zhirayr. We have commented many times this season that Zhirayr is maybe not the best when it comes to getting through the pack, but all ignored there. He got past Ben Walker very, very well there at the end of lap 2. Back on board with Ben Walker. He won't be so much worried about Zhirayr getting in front of him. He just won't want Lee Horne getting in front of him. He'll be the driver he worries about most tonight, is Lee Horne. At the front. A blistering 2-minute 29.9 time on that previous lap by Justin Welbelove, stretching a little bit away from William Foyle, but Foyle, as we know, is the master of driving Spa-Francorchamps in these cars. He will not give up on trying to catch up with that Link. Lee Horne is looking rather closer to the Hyundais he needs to catch. And in fact, Fraser Roston's just lets him pass there. A little bit of next-gen team tactics going on there. Lee Horne with a very, very easy overtake into 6th place there. The hosts versus the participants, it seems. But Lee Horne will now begin his campaign towards catching Ben Walker and Zhirayr Gurunyan. Now Matthew Addy has been caught by the 2 Hyundai drivers. And this might bunch things up a little bit if Matthew Addy can't maintain the pace of that first lap that he had. William Foyle looking at the front there, gaining a little bit on Justin Welbler on this lap. 3/10 so far on this lap he has caught. Back with the battle for 3rd. Gurunyan. I think Gurunyan will have a feeling that Ben Walker is not going to leave his sights in that rear mirror for much of this race. Coming up the main straight now. Let's get on board with Ben Walker. 2 cars in front of him. He'll want to get rid of them. Sharpish. 3rd place would be pretty good as he goes a little bit wide through Blanchimont there. Drops off a little bit from Zhirayr Gurunyan, who is going to look to the inside of Matthew Addy. Gets very late on the brakes. A very shaky rear end as he's breaking into that corner. Addy tries to hold him off and does at the moment. But very wide goes Zhirayr Gurunyan, and will be a slowdown penalty for running too wide. This is Ben Walker getting alongside him, but backs out and look on the inside. Lee Horne trying the inside of Ben Walker, and Ben Walker was very hasty to defend from him there. Round the outside, will Lee Horne go? No, he won't. He'll try the undercut round last source instead as we start lap 4 here at Spa Race 1. Lee Horne definitely took a chance there to try the inside, but Ben Walker panicked almost to defend it. Did not want to bother with Zhirayr and instead defended his status ahead of his actual rival Lee Horne. Will Foyle has dropped off a little bit from Justin Welbler in the last minute or so. But look at this, Zhirayr Gurunyan now trying the inside of Matthew Addy. He gets up the inside, up the Camel Straight, into Lacombe they go, and Zhirayr makes it work and sticks to the inside, makes the move work. Into 3rd place he goes. Now Ben Walker will have to try his hands at Matthew Addy now. Lee Horne is right behind him. He's not going to let Ben Walker make any mistake. He will get past him if there's just the slightest of mistakes from Ben Walker. Matthew Addy right in a championship sandwich here. If Zhirayr and Lee Horne's the bread and Ben Walker's the butter, then Matthew Addy is the tomato that these guys don't want in their sandwich. He goes wide, going through, put on there, but manages to recover. He's still on the back of Zhirayr Gurunyan. Up towards Lefang they go. Now towards campus. Zhirayr Gurunyan has Addy behind him, but he needs to focus on getting away from his championship rivals here while Addy is behind him. But Addy is not letting Zhirayr Gurunyan get away so easy. He's got a good run out of Blanchimont there on the Hyundai. The Hyundai has not got good top end speed. The VW Golf, however, does. And he might be able to try and get alongside Zhirayr. He has to go a little bit wide on the entry to Blanchimont. Zhirayr had a much deeper line, goes very, very wide there, gets away with it. But Ben Walker is up the inside now of both of them. He'll try the inside of Zhirayr, but backs out of it. He's up the inside of Matthew Addy still. And Zhirayr goes wide, 3 wide, going into the final corner here. Zhirayr recovers well. Matthew Addy still alongside Ben Walker. This is the view from Lee Horne. Ben Walker is up the inside of Matthew Addy, but Addy will try the inside of Zhirayr Gurunyan. Coming into turn 1 they go. Ben Walker sticks to the inside and in fact might have made that work. But Matthew Addy has to have a good run coming out of last source here. Lee Horne looking all over the rear of the 2 of them. They're still side by side. Lee Horne now alongside Matthew Addy. Ben Walker has got past Matthew Addy. Lee Horne not wasting any time though. He wants to get in front of Matthew Addy. Sharpish. You'll have the inside for turn 2 of Eau Rouge. Had to back out of it. And wide went Matthew Addy. That'll certainly be a slowdown penalty. And now Fraser Rostons is going to join the pie. Alongside Lee Horne he goes. Wow, there's a lot to take in this race, certainly. At the front, Justin Welbler just leading things away, 1.5 seconds ahead of William Foyle at the moment. Zhirayr Gurunyan not breaking away. Ben Walker is still so close to him. And Matthew Addy is still the tomato in the sandwich that no one wants. But putting on a good show is Matthew Addy. A brilliant first lap for him, and is putting up a great fight against these drivers. Has certainly been one of the most improved drivers of the season, probably my most improved driver from my point of view. William Foyle at the front there, got a slow down penalty coming out of the Jackie Inks corner. But nothing to worry about, as he's got quite a buffer to Zhirayr Gurunyan. Lee Horne, he can see the Hyundai slipping away ever so slightly. He needs to get Matthew Addy out of the way. Addy pulls over to serve that slowdown he presumably had from Eau Rouge, so had to serve it quick before he got a bigger penalty for not serving it quick enough. So that is another easy promotion for Lee Horne, and Matthew Addy went very wide there, and he might have hit the wall there. He's recovering now, went way too quick through Lavagna there, but might have just about got away with it. He drops off from that top 6 though, defending from Jonas Leenberg now. Jonas Leenberg, and this battle for 7th now, which we haven't mentioned much. Look how close they all are. Neil Crave now trying it on the inside of Jonas Leenberg. Oh, not much room given, but Jonas stays ahead, and this is Jeff Perkis now trying the outside of the Cupra. Late braking into the corner. Perkis has the inside, he'll come out the corner. Not quite in front, in fact. Crave hangs on to it. This is the view from Crave, this is the view from Perkis, and Crave gets back in front. Jonas Leenberg now trying the inside of Matthew Addy. Addy giving him room, but Jonas not able to get enough on the inside. And Arnaldo Guedes trying it at the Audi as well, but we'll break off from these as Ben Walker got a bit of a run on Zhirayr Gurunyan. Lee Horne is a long way back from these. He's dropped off to near 2 seconds behind now. That is not what he wanted. But this is Ben Walker. You'll see Lee Horne is dropped off some amount. If Ben Walker has a chance to get by Zhirayr, he'll try it, but he does not want his race being ruined. To the outside he goes. Switch to the outside camera, not able to keep it to the outside. Zhirayr holds him up, but Zhirayr gives him a bit of room. He probably didn't need to. He'll have a shallow entry into the 3rd corner there, and on the inside goes Ben Walker. He'll have the inside going into Bruxelles here. Does. Zhirayr's not giving him any room, but that will be 3rd place for Ben Walker. Or will it? Because Zhirayr's back up the inside going into the Jackie Inks corner. Side by side still. And Ben Walker just about gets in front on the exit of the Jackie Inks corner here. Into Piron they go, and Ben Walker will be happy with that. That's more points above what he needs to get on Lee Horne to stay in front of him. It means Lee Horne's job is going to be much harder in races 2 and 3. But Justin Welbler, this might be his last lap. Might be able to do another lap, will Justin. Not necessarily dominated this race, but a fantastic opening lap from him. Getting by Zhirayr Gurunyan and Matthew Addy to get himself into 1st and stay there. He's had Will Foyle to worry about a little bit, but nothing to threaten him with a battle in this race. Up towards Blanchimont he comes through the corner now. This potentially will be the final lap of the race for him. It's still side by side between these. We're going to have to look at them as Ben and Zhirayr side by side going into the chicane. Zhirayr just about nips back in front of Ben Walker, but this is Justin Welbler. He crosses the line to win race 1 here at Spa-Francorchamps. William Foyle finishes 2nd, and this is Zhirayr Gurunyan side by side with Ben Walker. Zhirayr gets through into 3rd place. He needed that. A brilliant final lap gasp to get ahead of Ben Walker and help his championship, who finishes 4th. Lee Horne gets 5th in the end, with Fraser Rostance in 6th. Jonas Lindberg comes through in 7th with Neil Crave 8th. Matthew Addy put up a good fight in the early half of that race, but eventually finishes 9th due to a mistake On Sector 3 a few laps ago, Jeff Perkis in 10th, Alex Ward 11th. Argo Zagan finished 12th with Jürgen Madsby Pedersen in 13th. 14th went to Alexander Jakobsen, Roy Plummer in 15th, Arnaldo Guedes in 16th, Orbin Kjellgren in 17th. But that was race 1 of the night. Your winner was Justin Webber, and what a race that was. And we'll just have to find out what that will do to the championship as it goes. So, 2nd to 4th for each of them. We'll just have to shuffle around to see what each one got. So, Zhirayr Gurunyan coming out of that will accumulate 23 points if we include qualifying. Do excuse me, it's actually 26 points? Yeah, 26 points. Do excuse me. Second place went to William Foyle, who accumulated 30 points more. Lee Horne will get 19 and 22 for Ben Walker. But the fastest lap of that race went to, excuse me, Justin Welberlove. Oh, and we're booted out. We will be going for a quick interval now as we set up race 2 of the final rounds here of the Next Gen Racing Power Max Racing WTCR League on Raceroom. Don't go away, join us in just a couple of moments for race 2. Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps for race 2 of the night, race 2 out of 3. This is race number 29 of the season with 30 on the cards. Spa-Francorchamps Grand Prix circuit, the 4.3 mile, 7 kilometre beautiful racetrack, God's racetrack. All leads lead to Spa, don't they? Well, if they don't, they should. Only costs £4.42 on Raceroom, a bargain for such a wonderful track. 24 turns, 14 to the right and 10 to the left. You join us for the final round of the NXTGEN Racing Powermax Racing WTCR League Series on Raceroom, hosted by Lee Horne, one of our championship battlers tonight. We started off all them weeks ago in Portimao in Portugal, then Brands Hatch Indy for the thrilling second round of the season, Road America for the dramatic round for the championship protagonists that they are now. That it was one of their worst rounds for all of them. Circuit Zolder was 4th with Autodrome Most in 5th. Scandinavian Raceway for one of the best races of the season, followed by another brilliant race of the season of Mid-Ohio. Aragon was 8th with plenty of drama in that, with a coming together between the top 2 in the championship. Round 9, one of the best touring car races I've ever seen. Last week at Watkins Glen Short Circuit, a fantastic occasion last week. Do check out last week's stream if you haven't already. But this week, it all ends here at Spa-Francorchamps. And we have got race 2 coming up very, very shortly here at Spa. So we're looking at Matthew Addy here, and before we go on to the championship state of play, Matthew Addy have had a very, very good crack at the whip, as it were, trying to battle with the top guys in that opening race. But a small mistake recovering from a slowdown penalty cost him all the way to 9th place, which means he won't be pole position for this next race. Whoever finished 8th, which I can't remember who it was, will be pole position for this race. I'm sure we'll find out very shortly once things get underway. But I'm just trying to sort out the championship state of play as it is now. One thing I do know, after the results concluded of that race, is Will Foyle is actually now out of the running for winning the championship, which he did half expect. Let's be fair to Will, he did half expect that to happen, but he gave it a good go, finishing 2nd in that race, hunting down Justin Welbelow. He had a cracking race in race 1 to get himself in front. But here is how things look now going into race 2 tonight. With only 2 races to go in this championship, it is now a 20-point gap between Ben Walker and Lee Horne, who Ben Walker extended his gap ever so slightly at the top there. Zhirayr Gurunyan caught up a little bit to Lee Horne, now only 9 points behind Lee Horne, but 11 points behind Lee Horne, but 31 points still behind Ben Walker. So if Ben Walker can finish ahead of Zhirayr Gurunyan by as much as potentially 4 points, Zhirayr Gurunyan is out of the running for the championship. But as we mentioned, Will Foyle is out of the running for the championship, 81 points behind, and the maximum amount of points you can accumulate for the rest of the night is 72. So it's out of the question for William Foyle there. But 4th is pretty much well and truly secure for him. So, as we mentioned earlier on in the night, the ballast, well, I don't think I did actually mention it, but the ballast for race 1 was based on the championship results. So Ben Walker with the most ballast, and then Lee Horne with the 2nd most, and then Zhirayr with the 3rd most. It now switches in this race, so the finishing top 10 of race 1 will now have the ballast running from 60 minus 6 each position. So Lee Horne finishing 6th place. Forgot where he finished there. Did he finish 6th? 5th place in that previous race, do excuse me. Will now only have... Got to do the maths now. 36 kilos of ballast. So 18 kilos less than what he had before, so it might help him a little bit. Zhirayr Gurunyan will have the same amount as he finished third, and he's third in the championship, so he's stuck with 48 kilos, and Ben Walker will drop significantly from 60 kilos to 42 kilos, so it might help those guys out quite a bit, as they're starting right in the middle of the reverse grid pack. Lee Horne will start fourth, with the other aforementioned drivers behind in 5th and 6th. Gives him a shot to go for first place. It gives any of them a shot to go for first. As the countdown begins, the final few seconds of this warm-up session, we will start race 2 in just a few moments. Here we go. The drivers are lining up on the grid, ready for race 2, the penultimate race of the championship here at Spa-Francorchamps. This is the Next Gen Powermax Racing WTCR League at Spa-Francorchamps, round 10 of this Raceroom League. Neil Crave will start on pole position as the drivers are set. Neil Crave on pole with Jonas Lindberg in second. Lights are red. Away we go. No one gets a bad start, no one gets a jump start. Neil Crave leads the way towards last source, braking heavy into the second gear corner. Neil Crave leads going into turn 1. Jonas Lindberg, a sitting duck in last source there as Fraser Rostens gets ahead of him. Lee Horne has nipped himself into third place. Now the run down to Eau Rouge begins, and look at that, alongside Lee Horne is not only Lindberg but Zhirayr Gurunyan, who gets behind Jonas Lindberg. Lee Horne leads going through Eau Rouge, and a bit sideways went Zhirayr Gurunyan. Ben Walker was nearly collected by him then. Ben Walker nips in front of Zhirayr Gurunyan. That is the blue link of race 1 winner Justin Welbler, just nipped in front of Zhirayr Gurunyan. He's all the way down to 7th at the moment, coming into turn 5 I think, and Neil Crave challenged by Fraser Rostens at the moment. Neil Crave hangs on to it. Lee Horne stays third at the moment with Jonas Lindberg behind him, but a little bit of a gap between him and Ben Walker position-wise at the moment. Fraser Rostens alongside Neil Crave going into Bruxelles. Up the inside he goes, completes the move fairly easily. Lee Horne right behind them now. Further back, that's Ben Walker going wide with Justin Welbler behind and alongside him. Justin Welbler turns across to try and nip back in front of him. Defending now from William Foyle is Justin Welbler, and Zhirayr Gurunyan is down to 9th. Not a good race 2 for him. Race 2 has never been his race. Round on they go, and Fraser Rostens still battling with Neil Crave. Neil Crave's on the outside as we come into Le Fagnes. Not able to get by, or alongside him is Neil Crave in that yellow Cupra. But Lee Horne gets the undercut on him, has the outside coming into Campus now. Neil Crave holds the inside. Lee Horne will try the undercut now, not able to get by him. Round Stavelot they go. Fraser Rostens stretching his lead straight away here to nearly a second in front already of the yellow Cupra. Fraser Rostens, I don't think, has won a race this season yet. He hasn't. Yeah, we mentioned it earlier. He's had 7 podium finishes, but not a race win. Could it be this one? We'll find out in about 12.5 minutes' time as Lee Horne looks side to side to Neil Crave. Not able to get late enough on the brakes and up the inside, but Neil Crave outbrakes himself. Has to recover in the chicane here. Lee Horne trying to get around the outside, and Ben Walker had a brilliant undercut on Jonas Lindberg we just saw there in the chicane. Coming up towards last source now. Most cars side by side. Lee Horne will have the inside of Neil Crave going into turn 1 of last source. Jonas Lindberg has the inside of Ben Walker. Ben Walker there. Let's see where Lindberg is. Lindberg nips behind him. And there we go. Ben Walker gets himself up placed the same time as Lee Horne does. That's all he needs to do tonight. Lee Horne going into Eau Rouge. Oh, and just looking back there, Zhirayr Gurunyan alongside Matthew Addy gets in front. Oh, a little bit sideways going through Eau Rouge. They both cut the corner significantly, and both will probably get slowdowns there. But Zhirayr Gurunyan gets himself back into 8th place. Neil Crave now not giving up, gets alongside Lee Horne. And look at that, that's Ben Walker up the inside, 3 wide going into it. Ben Walker takes both cars into one corner but runs wide. Lee Horne undercuts and gets back by Ben Walker, and Jonas Lindberg now trying the inside of Ben Walker. Brilliant battling from the 4 drivers going through 3 corners there. But Ben Walker stays in front of Jonas Lindberg, and all bunched up behind him as William Foyle is on the inside of Jonas Lindberg now. Justin Welbelove now gets in front. Yeah, Justin Welbelove in the link, runs wide, and that's Zhirayr Gurunyan on his outside now in the Hyundai. Is he able to stay on the outside? Yes, he is, coming down to Pouron, but we got Jeff Perkis also looking to the inside. 3 wide going to Pouron, and Jeff Perkis slots back behind. Can Justin Welbelove get in front of Zhirayr Gurunyan? He does, and Zhirayr Gurunyan had to back off a little bit, but Jeff Perkis is coming back up his inside now, or outside now. Oh, well, look at this, and that is William Foyle. No, not William Foyle. Who is that? Oh, that was Matthew Addy, sorry. Trying the inside. But look at all this close battling. William Foyle battling with Jonas Lindberg going into campus now. Both not giving each other room, but William Foyle nips back in front. Welbelove in the 7th position there. So, a bit of a sit rep. Gurunyan is back down to 9th place. Ben Walker still there in 3rd, right behind Lee Horne. Lee Horne must have had a little bit of a heart attack with Ben Walker nearly taking him and Neil Crave going into Lecombe. But here we go. Look at this gaggle of cars coming up towards the chicane now. Who will go for the inside? It's Justin Welbelove on the inside of Lindberg, but Lindberg outbrakes himself, will go wide, as does the Honda of Alexander Jakobsen. And going into the pits, there is a Hyundai. I think that's Zhirayr Gurunyan. I think that's Zhirayr Gurunyan going in the pits. It is. Gurunyan's in the pits. I'm not sure what's happened. It might be a penalty or a puncture. That will be championship over for Zhirayr. Well, that's it. That's it. That's championship over for Zhirayr Gurunyan, 3rd in the championship. That is it. Well, a bit of drama unfolded there, and we got to look up the front because Ben Walker's alongside Lee Horne, going through a roof side by side, bit of contact. Lee Horne not giving up on that position. This is the battle for the championship between these 2 drivers, Ben Walker and Lee Horne. Coming up the straight they go. Let's look at Neil Crave. Look how much of a draft he's got on these 2, straight down the middle. And he'll get in front of Lee Horne going into Lecombe now. Ben Walker has the inside and the better line, you've got to say. And now Lee Horne dropped 2 places in a matter of 1 straight. Neil Crave with a blistering exit from Eau Rouge and a brilliant draft gets himself by Ben Walker and Lee Horne. Coming down to Bruxelles, we go. Oh, look at this. Ben Walker has really switched it on in this race, making brilliant moves on drivers today, and it's only in this race anyway, and it's only lap 3. Crave holds the inside, going around Jackie Ink's corner. And a good run out of that corner by Lee Horne. Tries the inside, but not able to get there. So on they go. Lee Horne will try and get a better exit than Ben Walker, but not quite going to work just yet. On board with Ben Walker, he's got the Cupra stuck in front of him at the moment. Got to be patient with Neil Crave. He's got to remember, he's got to conserve his way round these drivers in front to stay ahead of Lee Horne. We've got Will Foyle catching up in the VW behind these 3, with Justin Welbelove, the race 1 winner, behind him. Jeff Perkis recovering after a disappointing race 1, finishing 10th, up to 7th at the moment. But Fraser Rosson's miles out in front. He hasn't won a race all season. He's got many podiums, but he's well and truly on his way right now, as long as he keeps it together. Neil Crave holding everyone up for him, it seems, battling with these 2. The championship rivals that are Ben Walker and Lee Horne. Lee Horne is looking to the outside of Ben Walker. Later on the brake stand, Ben Walker will have the inside for the 2nd corner of the chicane. And he gets in front, but Ben Walker tries the undercut and gets a good run coming out the corner. Here we go. Coming up to last source they go. And that's a slow down penalty for an Audi back there. I'm not sure who that was. It might have been Jeff Perkis. Horne still holds the inside of Ben Walker. Into last source they go. Brilliant battling from these, despite it being an intense championship battle. It is totally fair racing going on between these 2. 20 points between these drivers going into this race, with Ben Walker being ahead 2. So right now, Ben Walker will not be so worried about Lee Horne being in front of him. It's race 3 he'll have to worry about coming up later. Neil Crave goes to the inside, covering off the draft from Ben Walker, but helping out Lee Horne as Lee Horne moves to the outside to try a late break. Outside overtake on Neil Crave, hangs on to the outside, stays on the inside now for the second corner of Lecombe, now into the third corner of the complex of Malmedy, and still side by side between these two, and in front goes Lee Horne, but Ben Walker now at the inside of Neil Crave, and sideways they go. They nearly spun it. Ben Walker nearly spun it with Neil Crave turning across on him, but gets away with it. That's William Foyle now on the outside of Neil Crave. It's not been a good few corners for Neil in the Cupra there. 5 different manufacturers battling for third place here, which is great to see. But Ben Walker into third place, still got to find his way back past Lee Horne yet again. And now William Foyle will try his hands at Ben Walker and Lee Horne. William Foyle is out of the championship battle, being in 4th. He might be able to catch up significantly on Zhirayr Gurunyan in this race. Zhirayr being all the way down there in 17th. Still running, but losing a lot of points. Now Lee Horne, 4 seconds off the leader, but he's got Ben Walker to worry about. The only thing he can, well, it's not something he'd hoped for, but he needs Ben Walker to slip up or something like that. He needs points, and this is not enough what he's getting on Ben Walker in this race. In fact, he will stretch away from, he will reel in Ben Walker by 5 points as it stands right now, leaving it to a 15-point gap between the two going into race 3, the final race of the season. And there's a bit of swapping of positions going on back here for 7th place. Look at that, 2 VWs side by side. There's Matthew Addy and Jürgen Masby Pedersen. Pedersen trying the inside of Matthew Addy, very late on the brakes. Side by side through the chicane, not much room given. Across the sausage curb goes Matthew Addy and stays in 8th place. And look at this, Lee Horne defending the insides, going into last source. Ben Walker, is he going to get the undercut? He might have just done. Let's get on board with him. He's alongside him. And that is Ben Walker alongside Lee Horne, and past a brilliant undercut from Lee Horne. Sorry, a brilliant undercut from Ben Walker. Pardon myself there. And William Foyle has got him, is still in front of Neil Crave at the moment, trying to catch up with Lee Horne, and Ben Walker ahead of him. Here we go, down the Kemmel Straight. What move is Lee Horne going to make? He tries the outside of Ben Walker. Later at the breakers is Lee Horne. He loves this move on the outside. Oh, brilliant move around the outside. He'll hold the inside for Lecombe 2. Now going into Malmedy. Ben Walker hangs on to the inside and will have the advantage of the inside going into Bruxelles now. William Foyle is up the inside of Neil Crave. Still holding the outside is Lee Horne. This is the championship battle I'm reminding you of here. Lee Horne still has the inside of the Jackie Inks corner. And wide, very wide, when Ben Walker gets away with it. No slowdown there. They're still side by side coming down towards Piron now. Lee Horne holds the inside. Ben Walker gives racing room. Who will have the better exit out of this corner? Surely it's going to end side by side still. Please don't end in tears. Up the on the inside there is Ben Walker. He'll probably keep it now. Lee Horne is not going to give up. Fair play to him. He's staying on the inside and now has the staying on the outside, but now has the inside for Lefania too. Going into Campus now. Surely it's still side by side. Nearly a whole lap they've been side by side, and through Stavelot they go. Ben Walker eventually concedes to Lee Horne, but all the way from Lecombe all the way to here, they were side by side. Brilliant racing, but now Ben Walker is losing out to Neil Crave, and William Foyle has lost 3 places on this half a lap or so. William Foyle stays in front of Neil Crave. Neil Crave getting back alongside Justin Wellbelove's in the Lincoln Co back there. Up the inside of Neil Crave goes Ben Walker. Neil Crave hangs on to the outside, has the inside for the next corner. Now Ben Walker trying that signature undercut that he did on Lee Horne only a lap ago. 1 more lap to go as Fraser starts the final lap at the front there. Neil Crave holds off the inside from Ben Walker. Walker goes for the undercut yet again, but it does not work this time on Neil Crave, who has much less weight on board his car. Lee Horne, that is exactly what he wants. That is exactly what he wants. He wants Ben Walker a couple of places back Ben Walker in 6th place there will only score 17 points, 30 for Lee Horne. So that'll reel in. Oh, excuse me. Ben Walker to as close as, I think, 7 points. We'll have to find out if my maths is correct there, but outside of Lee Horne is William Foyle, trying his own move at him, and William Foyle moves into 2nd place ahead of Lee Horne. Now that has really upset things for Lee Horne. William Foyle flying past, using Lee Horne's move against him. That is a fantastic move we're seeing on the outside through Cone 1 there. But Lee Horne drops to 3rd place now. Ben Walker is in 5th, but he's still got to defend it off from Justin Wellbeloved. Justin, who is not involved in any championship battle, won't care what's going on here. Oh, and Ben Walker pulling off a little bit there. Has he got a slow down penalty to serve because Justin Wellbeloved has just got in front of him? What's happened to Ben Walker? He nips into... Sorry, he's dropped all the way back to 7th place now. More points lost for Ben Walker. That might have been a slow down penalty we weren't notified of. But that's huge points he's losing. And look at Lee Horne. He's looking towards William Foyle. He's not giving up on him just yet. Final few corners coming up for Lee Horne. He might be able to get more and more points ahead of his championship rival, who is now back in, down to 7th place. 7th place scores 15 points. 3rd place scores 25 points, so 10-point gap between them coming out of this race as it stands. Unless Lee Horne can get himself in front of William Foyle, then he'll drop to as close as 5 points. Let's see what happens between these two. We will have to switch to Fraser Rostance for the end eventually, but here we go. Lee Horne, is he going to hook up a move on William Foyle? We've got Ben Walker back there trying to make a move on Matthew Addy. Up the inside goes Lee Horne. He's very late on the brakes, but William Foyle will hold the outside. Ben Walker's up the inside of Matthew Addy, but Fraser Rostance is our winner, first time winner of the season. Side by side between these two, William Foyle will get across the line in 2nd place. Yes, he will. Very close though between him and Lee Horne, who finishes off on the podium in 3rd. Ben Walker in 7th place there. 4th place, valiant battling from pole sitter Neil Crave. Race 1 winner up to 5th is Justin Wellbeloved. Matthew Addy with a great recovery after the disappointment of race 1 up to 6th. Alexander Jakobsen finished that off in 8th place there. It's a reverse 15, and look who, well, we would say look, but Raceroom doing its thing. Zhirayr Gurunyan finished 15th, therefore he'll start on pole position for the next race, but the championship is out of his hands now, I think. We'll have to work it out later. But wow, what a race indeed. But your race winner for the first time this season was Fraser Rostance. Oh, that was hard work. So I'm just going to see if I can figure out the championship right now as things will go coming into the final race of the night in just a few moments' time. So with Lee Horne scoring 30 points in that race. Fastest lap did in fact go to Fraser Rostance, so that's non-applicable to the championship that I understand. 25 points. Sorry, it was 30 points to William Foyle, 25 points going to Lee Horne with the 3rd place finish there. 15 points going to Ben Walker, and only 6 points going to Zhirayr Gurunyan. So we will nip off for a break very shortly. But the championship status going into the final round, there's only 10 points between Ben Walker and Lee Horne. Zhirayr Gurunyan is out of his hands now. It is more than 36 points out of his reach. It's 40 points out of his reach. In fact, he will be 3rd, battling with Will Foyle still, with only 26 points between them. But it is between Ben Walker and Lee Horne coming into the final race of the season in just a few moments' time. We'll come back very shortly for the final race of the night. Don't go away. Here we go. It all ends here. Final race of the night, round 10, race number 30 of the season of the Next Gen Racing Power Max Racing WTCR League on Raceroom. We've come a long way from Portimao at the start. We're now on Spa, round 10 of the championship. So without further ado, we are going to interview the drivers. So first up will be Mr. Lee Horne, who had a brilliant second race there, scoring 25 points. 10 more than Ben Walker to get himself within 10 points of the championship leader himself, Ben Walker. So Lee Horne, 10 points is all that's in it, as you just heard. How are you feeling coming into this one?
Well, I'm absolutely buzzing after that race. That was just amazing to share, 7 multiple corners in a row. Side by side with Ben. There's no contact. It was just epic racing. Okay, we weren't our quickest because we're battling, but that was I just loved it. That's what it's all about for me. And that was, to be doing it with my title rival is just amazing. I'm a little bit frustrated that Will got by me, because that's 5 points. I could have had more. It could have been 5, not 10. But, that's racing. I said to everyone, I don't expect a free ride from anybody. If they did, great. But I'm not asking anyone to get out of my way. At the end of the day, this is racing, and you've got to compete with all of them, not just one. So, I'm buzzing, and I'm really excited for this last race. I'm just going to go for it and see what happens, and see if I can come out on top.
A bit of a curious question. If, let's say it finishes on a tiebreaker, does it go down to whoever's had the most wins? Well, that's just a guess.
That's a very good question, because, do you know what? I'm exactly the same as last season, because it came down, and it was because it was so close with me and Jamie, wasn't it? It was a point in the end, so it didn't matter. But I genuinely haven't set any conditions or rules, so I'd probably have to fall back on what would normally happen and not just make something up, if you know what I mean. So if the normal thing in motorsport is, for example, if I come to you, Alex, if this is your championship, you were running it, how would you do it? Count back on wins?
Yeah, whoever's had the most wins, which sadly for you is Ben Walker. So
yeah, I know that. I'm fully aware of that. But so
all you can do now is go for. We got to cut off very soon because we got to go to Ben Walker before we start. Yeah. But basically, I'm going to assume that all you can do here is just go for the win, go for as many points as you can.
Oh, for sure, yeah. From 12th, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
that's going to with 48 kilograms. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, for sure.
Well, best of luck to you. Lee Horne is in the blue Audi. Keep an eye on him. Lee, good luck for this final race of the season, and thank you very much for hosting a great championship.
No worries. Thanks for broadcasting it, mate. Cheers, bud.
No worries. So that was Lee Horne, and we are going to quickly interview the championship leader, Mr. Ben Walker. So we will speak to Ben Walker now, the championship leader, unsurprisingly, as he's led the championship for most of the season, from as far back as round 2, I believe. Ben Walker, you are leading the championship. You were leading the championship by 20 points coming into race 2, but now race 3 of the night, it's only 10 points between you. We understand that you had a slowdown on the last race, but coming into this final race of the season, how's your head? How are you feeling going into this one?
Fairly confident still. I mean, I'm happy with the pace I've got here. I've lost 20 odd kilos of weight compared to race 2. Yeah, it was mostly that slowdown at the end that cost me, but I've still got the lead in the championship, so I've just got to keep Lee behind me or around me, and I don't need to do anything hero like our little side-by-side through the room, but that was just fun.
Yeah, that was an excellent example of friendly championship rival racing on that. I think it was the penultimate lap where you were just side-by-side for like 7 corners. Great racing here there. We haven't got much time, so I'm going to let you get off very shortly, but what's your plan for this one?
Go forward and keep Lee behind me, hopefully. We'll see what happens. It doesn't always pan out that way, but we'll try. So.
Yeah. Well, 10 points between you. All I can say, yep. Ben Walker, is good luck, and make sure you put on a show for this final race. Thank you very much for being a part of it.
Not a problem, and hopefully not too much of a show.
Catch you later, Ben. Thank you very much.
Right. In a bit.
So there we go. Drivers 1 and 2 have spoken. Who will have the number 1 on their door for next season? Will it be Ben Walker for what will be only the 3rd Next Gen Raceroom champion following on from Lee Horne in 2 previous seasons and Jamie Dory from last season. Or will it be Lee Horne picking up title number 3? We'll find out very, very shortly. Lee Horne out there now. A little bit of practice before we get going. It was a reverse grid of 15, but 15th place finished Zhirayr Gurunyan. So it is almost safe to say that Zhirayr Gurunyan, with no ballast on board, will probably break away fastest lap and win the race, provided nothing goes wrong for him, as Lee Horne puts on a bit of a show for us. But there's plenty to play for in this one. Lee Horne only 10 points behind. He reeled in Ben Walker by 10 points in the previous race. The same can happen again here. We'll find out in just a few moments' time as we are about to get underway. For the final showdown, race number 30 of the season. But what's left to say is thank you very much to everyone who's watched all but one race that we could broadcast this season. It has been an absolute pleasure to be doing this with NXTGEN. Do get involved with the Facebook group NXTGEN Community to get involved in Season 20, whether it's Raceroom or any other sim. Drivers line up on the grid for the final race of the night, the final race of the season. Zhirayr Gurunyan is on pole position. Championship battlers, Ben Walker 9th. Lee Horne is in 13th. Lights are red. Away we go, and it's a jump start from Neil Crave, but Zhirayr Gurunyan gets away at the front there, gets to the inside to defend his lead, going into the first corner. Leeds going into it with Roy Plummer and Orbin Kilgren right behind him. That is Oguzagan we're on board with, but just to come back out to see what's going on. Coming down towards Eau Rouge, Zhirayr Gurunyan leads. Ben Walker is up to 8th place already alongside Jürgen Madsby Pedersen. Lee Horne is down there in 12th alongside William Foyle. Going through Eau Rouge they go. And it's a gaggle of cars battling for 3rd and 4th here, side by side between Jeff Perkis and Roy Plummer. Right behind him there it was Jakobsen. Jeff Perkis comes to the inside to take a look at Oguz Agan in 3rd place. Coming into Lecombe they go. Oh, and late on the brakes, there's a big hit there from number 25 car. I think that was Roy Plummer, recovering now to get back on the track, and he's still going, has not caused too much drama, thankfully. Justin Welblove already up to 6th place. He's now on the inside of Alexander Jakobsen going to Bruxelles, and Ben Walker already up to 5th place. As it stands, Ben Walker, well, unsurprisingly, as he's ahead of Lee Horne, will win the championship. But Lee Horne is up to 10th already, having started 13th, excuse me, already up 3 places. He's ahead of William Foyle, who just nipped him on the final lap of the previous race. Matthew Addy recovering from a slowdown there. That will relinquish the position to Lee Horne, but at the front, Zhirayr Gurunyan, as we expected, leading away there. Orbin Kilgren in 2nd place there, who won a race this season at Anderstorp, but it was taken away from him due to a post-race penalty, with an incident involving him and William Foyle. Oguzagan there in 3rd place. He's got Jeff Perkis right behind him, and Ben Walker on the back of this pack as well. Getting himself into the podium spots would be hugely beneficial for Ben Walker. Side by side between Orbin Kilgren and Oguzagan momentarily, but no longer. And now Jeff Perkis taking a look to the outside of the Honda of Oguzagan. He sticks to the outside. Coming towards the bus stop chicane. I still call it the bus stop, I know that, but no one takes a position yet. Lee Horne's up to 9th place, looking to the inside of last week's drive of the day. Oh, and there's a big incident at the back there. Jürgen Madsby Pedersen, huge contact on the number 12 car of Matthew Addy, I believe that was. And Jürgen will retire, it seemed to be. Oh, excuse me, I have to cut off as Ben Walker went straight into the rear of Oguzagan there. Let's back through Jeff Perkis. Nearly a costly mistake there from Ben Walker, but Ogus recovers, might have to concede a position here to Jeff Perkis, side by side through Eau Rouge. Oh, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. Oguzagan gets behind him into 4th place. Ben Walker has got Justin Welbler to worry about behind him as well, and slow back there is Alex Ward serving a slow down penalty. That means Lee Horne is up to 8th place. What a charge through the field so far from Lee Horne, who's got William Foyle basically pushing him along down this back straight here. Backs off and stays behind him. I don't think William Foyle wants to get himself involved in the championship. This is Justin Welbler all over that rear of Ben Walker, and look at Arnaldo Guedes in front of Ben Walker here. Ben Walker will be able to get that's Albin Kilgren. Walker has the inside of Kilgren going down into Bruchos, and the two Hondas back there. Jakobsen right at the inside of Oguzaga, and a bit of a forceful move, but makes it nonetheless. But Ben Walker is up to 3rd place, with Jeff Perkins broken away from him a little bit there. That is Lee Horne right on the back of William Foyle. William Foyle did find his way past Lee Horne. Oguzagan going very wide through Piron there, and that will bring William Foyle closer to him. But Jeff Perkins, the only thing between himself and Ben Walker. The thing is, though, I've just sort of realised, you probably had figured it out already, 10 points between Lee Horne and Ben Walker coming into this round. If Ben Walker finishes where he is now in 3rd place, as long as Lee Horne is behind him, he's won the championship. But Lee Horne will have to get himself into 1st and fastest lap to win the championship as it stands right now. Ben Walker is in front of him, and Ben Walker is in 3rd place where he needs to be right now. If Ben Walker could get himself into 2nd place, that will be the championship for him. We've got to look to Lee Horne back there, trying to find his way past William Foyle, who's not letting him by, and Jamie Dory. Oh, Jamie Dory hasn't raced all night, and he's just suddenly joined in. Good on him. He's got his wheel working at last. And Neil Crave peeling off into the pits there. That must be a drive-through penalty for him. And retired is Jürgen Madsby Pedersen. He's had a good season of much improvements has Jürgen, but a sad ending to that season for him. Zhirayr Gurunyan out in front. He started this season with a win. He might end it with a win, but only 3rd in the championship he will manage right now. Jeff Perkins versus Ben Walker at the moment. Ben Walker with a big run coming out of Eau Rouge. Here we go, down the Kemmel Straight. Ben Walker will go for Jeff Perkins. Getting into 2nd place and staying in 2nd place will secure the championship for Ben Walker. He's alongside, no, slightly in front. Coming into the Lacombe now. Gets in front. That's it. Ben Walker, all he has to do here is stay in 2nd place. Jeff Perkins real close to the rear of him. That might make Ben Walker a little bit nervous. But Ben on the comms when we brought him in for an interview just about 10 minutes ago sounded cool as a cucumber, I've got to be honest. And now this is Lee Horne 2nd in the championship, stuck behind Will Foyle still. He's got Albin Kilgren as well to contend with. Albin Kilgren in that grey Audi in front of him now as William Foyle gets past him on the outside of the Jackie Inks corner. He's on the inside, is Lee Horne. He was on the inside, no longer. He has to back out of it as Albin Kilgren, with much less ballast, can get away from him on the straights. And Lee Horne going very wide, going around on there, as did Albin Kilgren. But Lee Horne must know, with Ben Walker way up there in lead, it's a bit... It might be a lost cause for Lee Horne right now. All he can do is just drive and hope there's a mistake from Ben Walker. But there's not much around Ben Walker to give him much threat right now. Only Jeff Perkins behind him. Zhirayr Gurunyan with a 2:29.1 being his fastest lap of the race so far. The 3rd lap he set that on. That is a blistering lap time. Really impressive from the Ukrainian, who, by the way, is hosting a one-off event in about 2 weeks' time, where there's a team of Ukrainian drivers going up against a team of British drivers here. No, not here. Sorry, at Slovakia Ring. In these touring cars. That'll be an interesting race. We are broadcasting that, so do tune in for that. But it's Zhirayr and his Ukrainian teammates against myself and my British teammates. One of them definitely being Ben Walker. I've definitely got him in my team. Jeff Perkins, nothing to answer for just yet. And Lee Horne back there is side by side with Aubin Kilgren. He still hasn't found a way past him. And by the looks of it, he's not going to find a way past him going into Eau Rouge here. Kilgren nips back in front of him on the run down to the steep climb up Eau Rouge and over the crest onto the Kemmel Straight. Lee Horne hasn't got much time left. Still half the race to do something, but he's a long way back from Ben Walker. He's 6 seconds back. He has his teammate Jamie Dory behind him to try and help, but at the moment it's a bit of a struggle. Oh, and Aubin Kilgren recovering, collected Jamie Dory and Jonas Lindberg back there. And now Jonas is on the inside, coming down to Bruxelles, and Jamie Dory on the outside of Lee Horne there. Jonas in between Fraser Rostons and the other grey Audi of Kilgren there. But Jamie Dory finds his way past Lee Horne. Lee Horne seems to be a bit uncomfortable right now. He can't seem to get by and stay by many drivers at the moment. A lot of weight on board compared to the drivers around him, so that's probably what's letting him down a bit. But Ben Walker still in front of Jeff Purkis. Jeff not putting any doubt in the championship leader's head at the moment. Lee Horne will try and break away from this battle for 8th behind him, between Aubin Kilgren, his compatriot Jonas Lindberg, and same livery but different team and different driver Fraser Rostons in 10th there behind. Oh, and a good run coming out of the corner there of Stavelot by Jonas Lindberg, who will find the outside but not able to. He has to get back behind him. Towards Blanchemont he goes. Lee Horne just up the road there ahead of Jonas Lindberg. Blanchemont they go, and a bit of a scruffy run through Blanchemont from Kilgren. He hangs on to it in that great Audi there, very late braking from Kilgren there. Oh, as Jamie Dory goes wide through the chicane there, Lee Horne tries the undercut, and he might be able to get past. He will get past here, and a mistake from Jamie Dory concedes the position back to Lee Horne, who's up to 6th place, but a long way behind his championship rival and the car in front. On board with Jamie Dory, right behind Will Foyle. Lee Horne. He now has Aubin Kilgren in his mirror there. Slow down penalty for Jeff Purkis, which will certainly help Ben Walker. As Jeff Purkis was right behind Ben Walker. To the Kemmel Straight we go. It's a bit of a crocodile of cars battling for 6th here, as Alex Ward and Roy Plummer hoping to join the battle. All in a train at the moment coming down the Kemmel Straight. To Lecombe they go. Jonas Lindberg with a very good run out of the corner on the Audi in front of him of Aubin Kilgren. Down to Bruxelles we go. Lee Horne and Jamie Dory broke off a little bit in those few corners. This is on board with Jamie Dory, who joins for this one and only race tonight. Jamie struggling to set up his wheel for tonight, managed to get it sorted and hops in for this 3rd race. No ballast on board, so he's got a very quick Cupra underneath him there. But Ben Walker in 2nd place there as it stands. If he finishes 2nd, there's nothing Lee Horne can do. Even winning the race with fastest lap couldn't do anything. Ben Walker, as it stands, will be champion of season 19 here on Next Gen Raceroom. But there's still 6 minutes to go. Anything can happen as Jonas Lindberg gets in front of Aubin Kilgren. A bit of contact behind between Kilgren and Fraser Rostons. That's Alex Ward behind in the black charcoal grey Cupra. As Alex Ward, the driver of the day, I'll remind you, last week with 2 race wins at Watkins Glen. We've got to pick a driver of the day today, though, eventually. Fraser, he gets himself in front of Fraser Rostons now. Approaching the chicane. Ward stays in front. Fraser not able to get the undercut or alongside Alex Ward just yet. Horne still in front of Jamie Dory. Not much going on in the race at the moment. Zhirayr Gurunyan just pulling away. Fastest lap of the race, as he did in race 1 and this one, so he's hooked up good points in races 1 and 2, but 1 and 3, but race 2 just lets him down, and it has let him down on quite a lot of occasions. Ben Walker in there in second place. As we said, if he finishes here, the championship is secured. Jeff Purkis in third place there, with Justin Welbler, race 1 winner there in fourth. He's had a good night tonight. Credit where credit's due. But he is gaining on Jeff Purkis. Could get himself onto the podium here with the remaining 4.5 minutes. William Foyle has also had a good race. 2 third place finishes for him so far. Making his way towards Jeff Purkis and Justin Welbler. He might be able to get in amongst them before the day is done. Lee Horne in 6th place here. Will secure second in the championship where he is right now. They go. Jamie Dory following close behind Lee Horne. The 2 teammates, I imagine Jamie Dory was trying to G on Lee Horne a little bit, get in front of him and pull him along, so to speak. But a bit of a lost cause now, as he's 15 seconds behind the leader, but nearly 10 seconds behind his championship rival now is Lee Horne. But this second half of the season, Lee Horne has driven a valiant season with plenty of race wins, plenty of charges through the field, building on what was his weakness before, which, you know, as a former competitor of his, was overtaken and getting through the pack. He was a little bit reluctant to make moves, but this season he certainly improved upon that. Ben Walker has also been Mr. Consistent this year. He had a blinding meeting at Brands Hatch, which established his championship campaign very early on. And he's hung on to it. And has had to stay consistent. He hasn't really had that much bad luck. He had a bit of a bad meeting at Road America around 3, but that was about it. Other than that, he's put in some good races, pretty much regular as clockwork when it comes to race wins. But you have to say that Zhirayr Gurunyan is one that's certainly missed out on the championship this year. This will be his 9th win of the season. Nearly a third of the races we've had this season, he's won them. But it's just the races where he hasn't won, where he hasn't been able to get through the pack, or he's had drive-through penalties and, you know, false starts and that sort of thing. That is what's let him down. And surely you've got to think that well, without all of that, it certainly would have been a close championship contender, as he was tonight until race 2 hit him. Jamie Dory back in front of Lee Horne, I might add. Lee Horne will know the championship's out of the question now. He'll know that, so he's just going to race for fun against his teammate Jamie Dory, as Jamie goes wide through Rochelle's there. Justin Welbler, who was nearly caught onto the back of Jeff Purkis, had a slowdown penalty there. Zhirayr Gurunyan, I believe he'll complete this lap and be able to complete one more lap. But in just over 3 minutes' time, this man could come through unless something goes dramatically wrong. Ben Walker will come through as our championship winner. And while we're on the subject, Ben Walker has put in a great shift tonight. He did everything he needs to do tonight, and on that basis he is getting my Driver of the Day award. Getting a lot of glory right now. He hasn't had a race win today, but a podium in race 1 and a podium here, all enough to secure the championship. No, sorry, this will be his only podium tonight, which is rather surprising, but 4th place in race 1, battling for the podium with Zhirayr Gurunyan. Gurunyan started his final lap. Ben Walker has started his final lap of what will be a championship win for him. It must be going through his head right now what he's done. There's a horrible, horrible feeling. I know it from doing it, of not knowing if you've won the championship, but all he had to do was stay in front of Lee Horne in this one. So when you know, and you know you're ahead, and that's all you've had to do, and you've done it, you just kind of go through the motions on the final lap. Well beloved, getting closer and closer to Jeff Perkins. See if he can make it a double podium tonight. The winner of race 1, Justin, had a very, very good night tonight. If Ben Walker wasn't so brilliant at getting through the pack in all 3 races tonight, I think Justin Wellbeloved would have also been driver of the day tonight. Jamie Dorian, Lee Horne still battling there. A battle going on for 11th place there between Arnaldo Guedes and another driver in the grey livery of Fraser Rostons. Rostons, who won his won his first race of the season in race 2. Plenty of podiums to his name, but no race wins until race 2. Just moments ago. So he'll be happy leaving that championship on a good note there. But final stretch for this man, the race winner Zhirayr Gurunyan. Final stretch for this man, who will be the championship winner, Ben Walker. It's been a wonderful season where Ben Walker just came out the blocks fighting all the way back then in Portimao. However, despite a little bit of a flamboyant exit through the chicane there, Zhirayr Gurunyan will come through to win race 3 here, the final race of the season. Win number 8. I was wrong earlier. It's win number 8. But this man, Ben Walker, is your championship winner of season 19 on NXTGEN PowerMax Racing WTCR League. He wins the championship on the final race here of the day. Ben Walker of VLX Esports. Third of the race is Jeff Perkins. A little bit of a rusty start, but comes through with a good finish in the end. Race 1 winner is 4th place in this race, Justin Wellbeloved. A good night of racing for him. Will Foyle in 5th there, and 2nd in the championship will go to Lee Horne, who finishes 6th. But your championship winner, Ben Walker. And we'll pull him in. We'll pull him in for an interview now, just to get the heat of the moment here, once we change the camera angle so it's not showing that. Ben Walker, you are the season 19 NXTGEN PowerMax Racing WTCR champion. How do you feel? He's on mute there. We'll have to unmute him. Ben, unmute yourself and talk to us. Let us know how you feel, mate.
There we go.
There we go.
Error resolved.
There we go. Ben, congratulations, mate. What a drive all season. A fantastic final race there to get through the pack. How do you feel right now?
Pretty good. I was say it was a bit of an anti-climax at the end. Good for me, not so good for the people watching, I suppose. But yeah, I'll take a nice boring race anyway.
Well, you say anti-climax there, but no, you put on a great show at the start of the race there to get through the pack, and you were battling all the way through tonight's race. And by the way, you got driver of the day purely because your battling today was brilliant. But no, all the way back in Portimao, you came out the blocks fighting. You didn't. I don't think you got any race wins on round 1. You didn't, in fact. But then Brands Hatch race 2, straight out the blocks in race 1 with a win. You did have a little bit of a low point at Road America, but after Road America, there did you just sort of get your head down, just sort of say, look, Ben, come on, you were doing well. Let's get your head down again. What was the point you were thinking after that race there?
After that race, initially, I thought, where has all my pace gone? And I found the problem. Thankfully, it wasn't me being silly. It was just an issue with the pedals. Sorted that, and I was like, right, okay, just be consistent throughout the season. It's 3 races. You're not likely to win all 3 because of ballast and reverse grids and whatever. So just keep finishing in the top 5 as often as you can. And apart from a couple of hiccups here and there, we managed that, intertwined with some fantastic races with Lee, Zhirayr, Will, and Fraser. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Absolutely.
It was just a good season. Everyone was great. Hence why it went down so close at the end. I mean, it was down to the last race, which is how it should be. Yeah. Other than that, that was about it.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good season. Pretty good.
Well, I think you answered everything. I don't have any more questions. But what's the are you gonna retire? Are you gonna do a Rosberg and retire a champion, or do you think you'll be back for more next gen leagues or WTCR leagues in the future?
I'll be back for the WTCR and possibly the Assetto Corsa one in March. We'll see how it goes. Most likely the Assetto Corsa. Don't expect any heroics in that.
No, good. Well,
yeah, we'll be back.
All that's left to say, Ben, you're not a celebrity. No, I'm not going to say that.
No.
You are the championship winner, the 4th ever Raceroom Championship trophy holder.
Hey.
Go enjoy yourself. Spray the champagne. All around. You're going partying in Belgium tonight, it's safe to say, isn't it?
Yes, why not? Let's get out some, was it Belgium Ale? I can't remember what they do, what they're famous for, but let's get some of that.
I'm not sure, yeah. They do some good lagers, don't they? So, yeah.
Yes.
I'll meet you down the pub in just a bit, mate. But, you be on your way, and well done yet again, mate.
Excellent, mate. Thank you. Thank you for commentating, and thank you to everyone for hosting it, and see you again next season.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Ben.
Excellent.
So, there we go. That was the final round, and we'll pull in Lee Horne. Now, despite Lee Horne not getting the result he wanted tonight, 2nd place in the championship, Lee, a very, very good effort. We'll first of all talk about how you sort of feel. Do you feel a little bit disappointed, or just tell us how you feel about that right now?
I do have 2 titles under my belt. I know what it's like to win, and now I know what it's like not to win. I just appreciate everyone turning up, racing clean, and enjoying what they're doing here, and that's why I put it on. I put it on so like-minded racers can come along and really enjoy themselves and have some competitive racing. And as you would have all seen tonight, there's been some absolutely brilliant racing. And yes, of course I'm disappointed, and it's a massive congrats to Ben. He well deserves it. He's driven amazing for the whole season. Yeah, I look forward to hopefully taking it back to him, maybe in your presence as well next season.
We'll see. Yeah, well, as you mentioned earlier, but there have been a lot of people clocking onto the stream recently. But what's the plans for presumably a pretty big season 20 coming up for next gen? What's the plan for your side, for the Raceroom side of things?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm definitely going to run the series again. We'll go for the 4th time because Raceroom seems to do very well the touring cars. It's the official support, obviously, of the WTCR. I know we have on the horizon a possible BTCC game, but it's not here yet. And until it gets here and we see how good or not good it is, wishing and praying that it is good, of course, we won't change anything for the time being. So we'll put this back out again. I think this season, the new format with the 3 races, which I'll gladly admit, and thank you very much, Al, because you're the one that gave me the idea to change to the 3 races, help me with the server settings, and here we go with ballast, reverse grids, and 3 races. It mixes it up. It gives the guys at the back a chance to be near the front, and like I said before, with the introduction of this, the AM Championship within the whole championship, it's going to give the guys at the back something to fight for, that know that they're not quite good enough just yet. They're improving, but they can fight for an AM, like the Jack Sears Trophy in the British Touring Cars, that sort of principle. We'll put something on for them as well as the main title.
Absolutely. Great to hear. Any final words before we sign off for another season?
Well, I'll just give my thanks out really. Obviously, big congratulations and well done to Ben. Like I said before, he's well deserved it. Thanks to all the other competitors that have tried to impose themselves towards the top of the grid. Zhirayr and Jeff and Will and all of them. I can't remember and name them all. Also want to thank your good self, Al. You've done an amazing job the whole season broadcasting. Your commentary is second to none, mate. Your stats and facts at the beginning. You come across like you've been doing this for years, so it's appreciated, and it goes down very well with everyone obviously that tunes in for it. So and those that tune in and have a look and take a view of what we're doing and enjoy watching. Thanks for watching.
Couldn't have said that better. Excellent stuff, Lee. Well, unlucky on the championship results. Second still brilliant, though. It's 2 seconds in a row with 2 firsts. That's not a bad record for yourself. But we're going to sign off now. So thank you very much, Lee, for coming in and chatting to us today.
No problem. Thanks very much. Cheers, guys.
So there we go, everyone. That has been the final race of the season. Your championship winner was Mr. Ben Walker, with second place Lee Horne, third place Zhirayr Gurunyan. I've been Alex Everett of Crest Autosport. Do subscribe to our channels, please. We have plenty of racing going on, including the Crest Autosport DTM Championships coming up. Tomorrow we're at Lausitzring for the DTM 2020, so do tune in around about this time tomorrow for that. But this has been the Next Gen Powermax Racing WTCR series. I've been Alex Everett. This has been Next Gen. We'll see you whenever we see you next. Thank you very much for watching.